Greetings, sisters and brothers, comrades. This is Milton Alimadi, publisher of Black Star News, adjunct professor of African history at John Jay College here in New York City. Today, I want to comment briefly on the ongoing campaign for presidential elections in Uganda. People that have been following see the vicious nature of the campaign, primarily because of one man, General Yoweri Museveni, Uganda's U.S. and Western-backed dictator of 34 years. He's very desperate. He's launched vicious attacks against supporters of Bobi Wine. His given name is Robert Kyagulanyi. He's better known as Bobi Wine, a young member of parliament in Uganda. He's 38 years old. Museveni officially is 76, but he could be 80 years old. And Museveni fears Bobi Wine because Bobi Wine speaks to the youth. He understands them. He is of the youth. 80% of the population is under the age of 35. Judging by the turnout at Bobi Wine's campaign events, it is clear to everybody, including dictator Museveni himself, that the dictator is going to lose in a landslide election, if indeed the election is held on January 14, 2021. So what has he been doing? Launching vicious attacks using taxpayer security forces, the police and the military, to kill supporters of Bobi Wine. Yesterday alone, December 1st, Bobi Wine was heading to a campaign event in Kayunga and then Jinja. His motorcade was diverted to a side road, and there, the tires of his vehicle shot out. And then while he's basically asking security forces why he was being mistreated like that, gunfire erupted. One of his bodyguards, I believe the last name is Kato, was grazed in the head with a bullet. Another member of his entourage, I believe he is a music producer, and his name is Daniel Oyerwa. He was also wounded. Another unidentified individual was also shot by a desperate dictator who knows the writing is on the wall. On November 18, the most brutal incident during this campaign season was launched. Bobi Wine had been arrested by the regime, and protests erupted throughout the country. The dictator unleashed his security forces, taxpayer security forces that he uses like his personal militia, to fire live rounds into unarmed civilians. Reports range from 45 to 85 people that may have been killed, hundreds critically wounded, hundreds more arrested, simply because a dictator wishes to hang on to power after 34 years. Ugandans will not have this. Ugandans want a peaceful, transparent, free and fair, open election. But Ugandans have shown that there's no fear anymore. People keep coming back into the streets. And the dictator is aware of this as well. And he knows that you can only kill so much. Even his Western supporters have now had enough of him. You can see by the international media reporting of events in Uganda, kind of reporting that you would never see in the past. The West primarily is interested in making money. It's always about business. Forget about human rights. But they've determined that they can still do business with Uganda without General Museveni. He's now seen as a liability. There's no need for Museveni. The future is in the hands of the youth of Uganda. 80% under age 35. And Bobi Wine is their candidate, age 38. Let's take one national asset, for example, the petroleum, the oil. Significant oil finds in Uganda. not yet brought to market. So the Western companies are looking at the future. They know that the oil itself could not be secure with this dictator still in place. How would it be? He's universally repudiated in Uganda now. So who would secure the oil pipelines? Who would secure them? They would not be safe. They would be subjected to sabotage. We've seen this happen in countries where the regime is in disfavor. And this is the calculation that the Western business community clearly have made. And Museveni knows this. But he seems determined to sink Uganda into violence before he leaves the scene. I wrote an article recently, and I speculated that he may even get so desperate as to try to engineer an insider coup, military takeover in Uganda before or after the election. And he knows it would be universally condemned, and then he might put in place a pseudo-civilian administration, a caretaker regime, but even that is unacceptable. Ugandans have had enough of him, and now it seems increasingly the West have also had enough of him. Now let me make one other final comment. A young candidate like Bobi Wine is risking his life. And he has made it clear that he's not afraid, and that he knows he could pay the ultimate price with his life. So I wish to make two comments. Every Ugandan who foresees a better future for Uganda, let us all vow to ourselves that should Dictator Museveni kill Bobi Wine, that Dictator Museveni should pay the price for it, and that justice must be served. So let's make that vow to ourselves. That is the first final observation. Here's the second observation. Many of us are still sitting on the fence. We are not giving enough support to the campaigns going on in Uganda. Candidates are risking their lives. In addition to Bobi Wine, Amuriat, the candidate for FDC, Forum for Democratic Change, the candidates for Alliance for National Transformation, they're also campaigning. Retired General Mugisha Muntu, the candidate for the Democratic Party, Norbert Mao. Support these candidates. Support them, particularly you in the diaspora. If you have any extra dollars, extra pounds, Deutsche Mark, that is the very least you can do. Go to their website. I've said this in the past. And I also not only preach it, I actually practice what I say. So I do so myself. Yes, times are hard for everybody. But the very least we can do for candidates like Bobi Wine, risking their lives, could be killed at any moment for the sake of wanting to create a better Uganda. The very least we can do is dig into our pockets and support their campaign. Go to their Facebook pages. Go to Bobi Wine's Facebook page or any of the other candidates that you want to support and make some financial contribution. That is the least you can do as they challenge Museveni's bullets. Let's help bring an end to tyranny in Uganda. Thank you, sisters and brothers.